emerging markets today face a set of diverging futures. Essentially, they are at a point where we could say what got you here won't get you there. Actually, let's look at the emerging market story over the last 30 years. Until 1980, the term emerging markets did not exist. They were called underdeveloped economies, the third world. Most charitably, they were called developing economies. And in fact, they were not going anywhere, just staying poor, just staying submerged. What really happened, was a fundamental revolution, an ideological revolution. A rejection of the role of the state as the master of all activity, to embrace of the market, to let entrepreneurs do their thing, to actually, boost productivity, enhance efficiency, serve customers. And that's what led from China to India to Southeast Asia to Eastern Europe to Latin America to more recently to Africa to emerging economies across the world, in total growing at 2 to 3 times the pace of the rich economies. But now, where are emerging economies today? You see, because to grow rapidly from the size that they had, from the state of development that they had in 1980 or 1990 at a faster pace is much easier than to grow at a fast pace given where they are today. Emerging economies actually are at a crossroads. Where do they go from here? Just look at the last 10, 12 years. China grew at 10, that's pretty nice. India grew at 7, reasonably okay. But then look at Russia, grew at 4.4%, Brazil at 3.3%, Mexico at an even slower 2.1%. For 2014, the IMF predicts that Brazil will grow at only about 1.8%, Russia at 1.3%. Even China and India are slowing down. China expected to grow at 7.5, India at 5.4. What's really happening, one, is of course that it's harder to keep growing at a rapid rate when you are richer than you were 10 years back or 20 years back. So these economies are bigger in size, they are more developed. That makes further growth at a rapid rate harder. So in fact, if we look ahead at the next 10 years, 12 years, some emerging economies will probably get stuck. Some of them even run the risk of actually losing the accomplishments that they have achieved over the last 2 to 3 decades. Some might actually get trapped in the lower middle income or the middle income status that they have achieved so far. Some economies, I do believe, like South Korea, like Israel, over the last 20 years, will indeed break through the middle income status, will join the set of technologically advanced and rich economies. Who will they be? Will that be China, India, Brazil, Turkey, Indonesia, Mexico? We have to see. The future of each of these economies lies very much in the hands of their citizens and the leaders that they choose to work with. And in fact, the type of reforms that they choose to do and the strength of the institutions that they build. What are the lessons for multinational companies? I think clearly the last thing they should do is to put all their chips into one or two of the hot emerging markets. What they need to do is invest in a broader set of high potential emerging markets and monitor each of these markets very carefully.